Steve Jobs.
1. Early life and adoption. 2. Education and early interest in technology. 3. Founding of Apple. 4. The Macintosh and power struggles. 5. Next and Pixar. 6. Return to Apple. 7. The digital hub strategy. 8. The iPhone and iPad revolution. 9. Health struggles and leadership style. 10. Death and legacy.
Stephen Paul Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California, to Abdul Fattah Jandali and Joanne Schiebel, two university students who gave him up for adoption. He was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, a lower-middle-class couple from Mountain View, California. Though not wealthy, the Jobs family provided Steve with a stable and supportive home. Jobs had a complicated relationship with his biological origins. He knew from a young age that he was adopted but always felt chosen and loved by his adoptive parents. This sense of being special became a recurring theme in his life. From a young age, Jobs showed an unusual interest in electronics and mechanics. He would work with his father in the family garage, dismantling and rebuilding electronic devices, a practice that built his early technical intuition. Jobs attended Homestead High School in Cupertino, where he met Steve Wozniak, a bright young engineer with a passion for computers. Jobs was not a great student academically. He often found traditional education too rigid and inspiring, but he showed early signs of creativity, curiosity, and rebellion. In 1972, Jobs enrolled at Reed College in Oregon but dropped out after 6 months. He continued auditing classes for over a year, particularly calligraphy, which influenced the aesthetic sensibilities he later brought to Apple products. After leaving college, Jobs traveled to India in search of spiritual enlightenment, experimenting with psychedelic drugs and embracing aspects of Eastern philosophy. This journey profoundly affected his worldview and minimalist approach to design. In 1976, Jobs, then 21, partnered with Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne to start Apple Computer Inc. in the Jobs family's garage. Their first product, the Apple I, was a bare circuit board. Primarily intended for hobbyists, the real breakthrough came with the Apple II, a complete computer with a keyboard, color graphics, and a plastic case, one of the first consumer-friendly PCs. The Apple II was a huge success, revolutionizing the personal computer industry and making Apple a household name. Jobs' charisma and vision contrasted with Wozniak's engineering brilliance. Jobs insisted on sleek designs and user-friendly interfaces. He saw computers not just as tools for techies, but as appliances for everyday users. By 1980, Apple went public, making Jobs a multimillionaire and a celebrity in the tech world. However, his management style, demanding, confrontational, and perfectionist, caused friction within the company. Jobs spearheaded the Macintosh project, envisioning a computer that was affordable, powerful, and easy to use. The Macintosh, launched in 1984 with its iconic 1984 Super Bowl ad, introduced a graphical user interface GUI and mouse to a broad audience. While it was a technological marvel, it was expensive and limited in software. Internal power struggles soon surfaced. Jobs clashed with then CEO John Sculley, whom Jobs had recruited from Pepsi. In 1985, following a failed boardroom coup, Jobs was forced out of the company he had co-founded. This was a devastating blow, but Jobs later described it as a liberating experience. It gave him the freedom to explore new ideas without the burden of corporate politics. After leaving Apple, Jobs founded Next Inc. in 1985, targeting the higher education and business markets. Next computers were beautifully designed and powerful, but prohibitively expensive and commercially unsuccessful. However, the Next Step operating system would later become the foundation of macOS. Around the same time, Jobs bought a small division from Lucasfilm's computer graphics group, renaming it Pixar, initially focused on selling animation hardware. Pixar transitioned to producing animated films. Jobs invested $10 million of his own money and remained deeply involved in the company. Pixar struck gold in 1995 with Toy Story, the world's first full-length computer-animated film. The movie was a box office success and critical darling. Under Jobs' leadership, Pixar became a dominant force in animation, producing hits like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Up. Pixar's success culminated in a 2006 acquisition by Disney for $7.4 billion in stock, making Jobs the largest individual shareholder in Disney. In 1996, Apple, struggling and on the verge of collapse, acquired Next for its software and leadership. Jobs returned to Apple as an advisor and eventually became CEO again in 1997. He accepted a symbolic salary of $1 per year. Jobs quickly set about revitalizing Apple. He cut unprofitable product lines, restructured the company, and focused on innovation and design. His mantra of simplicity, beauty, and functionality. In 1998, Apple launched the Mac, a colorful, all-in-one computer that reinvigorated the brand. Its striking design and ease of use made it a hit. Jobs, now donning his trademark black turtleneck and jeans, became the public face of Apple's comeback. Jobs envisioned the Mac as the digital hub for users' lives. This led to the release of iTunes 2001, MOV, iPhoto, and other software. In 2001, Apple introduced the iPod, revolutionizing the music industry. Its seamless integration with iTunes created a powerful ecosystem. The iTunes Store, launched in 2003, legitimized digital music purchases and helped reduce music piracy. Apple was no longer just a computer company, it was a digital lifestyle brand. Jobs' focus was always on end-to-end control, hardware, software, and user experience. This holistic approach set Apple apart from rivals like Microsoft. In 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone, a game-changer in telecommunications, computing, and design. The iPhone combined a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator in a sleek, touchscreen device. It was revolutionary in both concept and execution, triggering the smartphone boom and reshaping global culture. The App Store, launched in 2008, created a new platform economy and fueled the rise of countless apps and services. In 2010, Jobs unveiled the iPad, which again redefined mobile computing. Critics were skeptical, but the iPad became a commercial hit, especially in education, media, and business. Jobs' keynote presentations, Steve & Oates, became iconic events, showcasing his gift for storytelling and showmanship. He had an unmatched ability to distill complex technology into compelling narratives. Behind the scenes, Jobs battled health problems. In 2003, he was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. He initially resisted conventional treatment, pursuing alternative therapies, a decision he later regretted. Despite surgeries and a liver transplant, his health declined over the years. Jobs took several medical leaves of absence. In 2011, he stepped down as CEO, handing the reins to Tim Cook, Apple's co- and longtime operations genius. Jobs remained chairman until his death. Jobs was a controversial leader, brilliant, visionary, and demanding to the point of ruthlessness. He could be mercurial and harsh, often pushing people to their limits. But many who worked with him acknowledged that his relentless standards drove them to do their best work. Steve Jobs died on October 5, 2011, at the age of 56, surrounded by family. The world mourned the loss of a creative genius whose ideas had reshaped multiple industries. His official biography by Walter Isaacson, published shortly after his death, portrayed a man of contradictions, a perfectionist and a minimalist, a Buddhist who embraced capitalism, a tyrant in meetings and a master of inspiration. Jobs' legacy is immense. Personal computing. Jobs helped bring computers into the home. Digital music. With the iPod and iTunes, he reshaped how people buy and consume music. Telecommunications. The iPhone redefined the phone and created the modern app ecosystem. Entertainment. Through Pixar, Jobs revolutionized animation and storytelling. Design thinking, he championed elegant, user-centric design. Leadership, he proved that great products emerge from the intersection of technology and liberal arts. His influence continues to be felt in technology, design, entertainment, and business. He showed that passion, vision, and determination could build companies that not only thrive financially, but also change the world.
Subscribe to my channel.